Hi guys. 2 weeks ago, around the 18th of January, I got 2 lines on my pregnancy test. No, actually, it's a rapid antigen test, and I was positive of COVID. And I wanted to share in this video what was it like for me, what others experienced, and my thoughts on having it. And so I'd like to be able to share it because there are a lot of people out there who are curious to know what it's like to go through this virus. And I wanted to share it with you because on the Monday, I went to work and I was feeling really down. I mean, my nose was blocked and the patients could hear it, and so they became curious as to what was actually going on because I was showing some symptoms of cold or flu. And so that evening I went and took a rapid antigen test, and the 2 lines, lo and behold, appeared on the test, and that meant that I was positive COVID. So I was feeling very confused because, well, as a sole practitioner in my own practices, I needed to A, register that I was a positive case, and B, have a time away from or quarantine from the office for 7 days. So it was a big decision for me, or it was a big shock for me to actually take some time off. So I went ahead and registered for the fact that I am a COVID statistic, and then started getting busy with preparing up to what I should do during my break. And here I was thinking, wow, okay, I've got a whole 7 days. I came to accept the fact that I was going to take some time off. And here I was excited because I thought I could catch up with my paperwork and I could get some workouts done. And you may have noticed that if you experienced the week of the 18th, from the 18th of January, that the weather was particularly fine and warm. It is summer here, after all, here in Melbourne. And I thought that I can get a lot of stuff done. However, that wasn't the case. What happened was I was very, very unwell. Well, in fact, it was, I would call it mild symptoms. I had a sore throat, I had a productive cough, and my body was aching all over. But what's more is that the exhaustion that I felt quickly at the very beginning of the day. So basically, I'd start the day off on Tuesday at 7 o'clock in the morning. I was gonna, I got ready and got to my desk after doing a whole bunch of stuff, just having breakfast and everything. And then I got to my desk to do some work, and I did get some work done. However, by 9 o'clock, the feeling of overwhelming exhaustion just came over me, and you just feel like you're so tired. So it was time for beddy buyers. It was time to go for a sleep. I ended up going to bed and having a nap, and it would go until from 9 a.m. till about midday. And so I'll wake up again, and I'll get back onto the desk and get some more work done, and still that feeling of exhaustion came up not soon after. And then so basically that's how it went for the first couple of days, and it just was to a certain degree frustrating, and also B, made me start thinking that it made me think, if I had time off from work and had 7 days to kill, is this how lazy I have become, or is it really just the virus and the symptoms that's causing me to become exhausted and sleepy and tired? And that's what happened. And so it happened throughout most of the 6 days that I was actually incarcerated for in our house. Thankfully, everybody else in the house was negative, and so I needed to just recover well. And then so and it came on to the 7th day, which was again back on the Monday, I had to, and I was curious to know if I was still positive. And so I went ahead and took the test again, and here it is. So basically, here's the first one and here's the second one. And as you can see, there is no line on this rat test, meaning that I was actually free to go. And so I was elated and overjoyed by the fact that I'm able to return back into practice again the next day on Tuesday. And so I was excited to speak with the patients again and to share my experience with it. And so along with that, I was curious to know if to those people who actually had caught it and how their experience differed from mine. And so I went ahead and asked a few people, and one of the things that I came up with, or at least commonly, is that the people who who caught it 6 months ago tended to have more severe symptoms. And you would have heard this before, where they were experiencing symptoms such as loss of smell and loss of taste. I mean, I've saw some videos on the internet about people trying pure crushed garlic and they were unable to taste it simply because COVID had taken over removed their sense of smell. That's not something that I experienced myself. In fact, I didn't have a loss of taste or a loss of smell, nor did I have a fever. It was just what I had described as just cough and sore, achy muscles. Some actually also had headache, ringing in the ears, and as well as digestive, or at least intestinal problems, such as like diarrhea or stomach aches. So the symptoms varied. And I mean, some of the people say that it's actually because of that I had caught Omicron in comparison to Delta, where Delta is known to have caused these more severe symptoms, in comparison to Omicron that provided or that had less of an impact on the immune system and therefore had milder symptoms. So that's how people experienced it as well. Now, I was actually, greeting patients saying, I actually got the t-shirt that says I suffered from COVID and I survived it. Wouldn't it be great if we can actually have something like that? Because look, at the end of the day, there are some people out there who are worried from in contracting this disease. Now, in my point of view, is that people who are within my demographic, people who are in their 30s, 40s, young and strong and fit, should tend to be able to survive it. The concern there is more towards our elderly population, because at the end of the day, if we're living with them, if we're interacting with them, they have a higher chance of contracting it. And it is quite taxing on the body. It is actually quite a process. It's not pleasant, guys, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody to actually get COVID. It is not a pleasant experience. Also, I feel like I'm a little relieved because I have suffered it, which means and survived it, which means that I have a lower chance of contracting it again, and B, it wasn't that bad after all. Of course, like I said, this is my own experience. This is not something that perhaps you might get. And I've just checked the New South Wales government's advice that having contracted COVID provides you at this stage up to about 28 days of immunity from contracting COVID, which means that because you've had it, to a certain degree, there's a lesser chance of you contracting it because within the next 28 days. What happens after that is beyond me. It probably, you rejoin everybody's chance of contracting it again. I'm not sure, particularly with new strains coming up. Either way, I am less afraid of getting COVID and suffering the symptoms again. However, I am concerned if it means having to miss out on going to practice again, because at the end of the day, I came to accept the fact that because I've had it, I felt good the fact that it's happened at the beginning of the year instead of in the middle of the year when it's much busier. Everybody is still on school holidays and they're going to return back to school by Monday. But otherwise, everybody will be, it's still a slow time of the year. That's my thoughts on COVID and my experience with it. So I'm curious to know what others experience. How did you experience COVID? What's your COVID experience overall? How did you go? Did you have severe symptoms? Were your symptoms mild? Did you have vaccinations? So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, did the vaccine, I'm double vaxxed because I'm a health practitioner here in Victoria, did the vaccine actually help? And I can't answer that, because at the end of the day, I am double vaccinated, so I'm not sure if the mild symptoms is brought on by the fact that I was double vaccinated or not. Leave your comment down below to tell me and share and discuss what your experience is with COVID. And I hope that this has been of use to you. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead, and I look forward to seeing you at our office one day. Cheers, have a great day.